liberty, and justice for all.
This meeting is being recorded for district purposes. It is or may be published in part or in its entirety on the district's website without the express permission of meeting participants. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Farragonio,
Here.
Mrs. Fisher,
Here.
Ms. Fitzko,
Here.
Mrs. Kehoe,
Here.
Mr. Kovacevic,
Here.
Mrs. Ramasco,
Here.
Mrs. Scott, Mr. Zachary,
Here.
Mr. Carpenter,
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Sunshine Law, please.
The Board of School Directors held an executive session on Wednesday, August 20th to discuss personnel matters subject to attorney-client privilege and other confidentiality laws, litigation or threat litigation matters, sensitive public safety issues.
Thank you. Any correspondence?
No correspondence.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion to approve number 7 and number 8 for the treasurer's report and the minutes from Wednesday, July 9th, and the report from treasurer's report from June 2025?
So moved.
All right, thank you. Heard a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any agenda adjustments, amendments?
I just want to note for purposes of the public that under personnel, item number 9, resignation, this is an item that was added to the agenda after it was published. This arose within the last several hours, has no cost value associated with it. It's the acknowledgement of a resignation, and so it's appropriate to allow that under the Sunshine Law as amended.
Okay, thank you. And I believe we have a few. I believe we have a few recognitions.
Would you like me to read, Mr. Carpenter? I don't believe we have anybody present this evening, but I can read.
Thank you.
Turnip the Beat Silver Award. Ambridge Area School District has been awarded the Turnip the Beat Silver Award. This recognition honors summer meal program sponsors nationwide who diligently provide children with high-quality, nutritious meals during the summer months. This is an elite group of 199 sponsors across the country. Congratulations to our food service department. Kelly Gregory, Sue Palumbo, Anna Robinson, Vicki Pinkerton, Amanda Knox, Barb McGeorge, Leah Hartman, Leanne Holman, Director of Food Service. Congratulations. All-State Volleyball, congratulations to 2025 senior Carson Merlina. He earned a spot on the All-State team. From across the state, 10 players were chosen to the first team, 10 players on the second team, and 9 players on honorable mention. Carson earned first team honors. Very awesome. What a great honor. Way to represent Ambridge Area High School and the team. Go Bridgers. Congratulations to Carson and Coach Freed.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Great. As always, just great accomplishments. So thanks to everybody that was recognized. At this time, district residents may come forward to comment on agenda items only. Each person must state their first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each resident will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once. This period for public comment prior to the standing committee reports will be limited to 1/2 hour. Although not required, board members desiring to address questions or concerns may do so after the residents' comments or questions or at the conclusion of the committee reports. There will still be an opportunity for residents to comment on any business relevant to the Ambridge Area School District under old and new business at the end of the meeting. All right, seeing none, let's move to the committee reports. Education and Technology, Mrs. Romasco.
Thank you, President Carpenter. I move for item number 1 under Education and Technology.
All right, thank you. Roll, please.
Mrs. Farragonio,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Ms. Fitzko,
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe,
Yes.
Mr. Kovacevic,
Yes, please.
Mrs. Ramasco,
Yes.
Mr. Zachary,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Finance and Budget, Mr. Zachi.
Thank you. I move for the adoption of items 1 through 3.
Okay, thank you. Second,
Second.
thank you. Roll, please.
Mrs. Faragoni?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Fusco?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kvasivic?
Yes, please.
Mrs. Romasco?
Yes.
Mr. Zaggy?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Buildings and Grounds, Mrs. Faragoni.
Thank you, President Carpenter. I have two new items since the last meeting. Item number 2, State Street Elementary Fire Alarm Panel. It is recommended to approve a proposal from Johnson Controls to replace the fire alarm control panel at State Street Elementary in the total of $9,000 through the state bidding process, CoStars. Number 3, High School Football Field Quarterback Club. The board authorizes the demolition of the high school football field quarterback club structure in connection with the visitor bleacher removal project. The demolition will cost $0 to the district and to be performed without further remuneration by Tom Sipes Demolition as a donation, subject to agreement finalization. Any questions on item 2?
I have a question on 2, please. Understandably, what needs to be done is replace that with the false alarms going to the 911 center, as you've so told us before. Those are going to continue until this is replaced, is what I believe. So are they on an urgent notice to replace this, or is it going to be a little while yet? Just curious.
I think they are on notice as soon as it's approved. I don't know if they gave you an exact time frame, but I think they understand that this isn't a next year project. This is something we'd like to get done.
Is it during school hours since we're starting here tomorrow, or do we
Well,
know that?
the one that keeps going on and off is working condition to start school for tomorrow. But for them to replace it out, I would defer to them as to whether or not it's going to be, when would be the best time for them to be able to do it in the time frame.
That was specifically, did you ask specifically for questions on number
Yeah, I
2,
just did.
Mrs. Faragoni, or
Correct.
2 and 3?
Just 2.
Okay.
So any questions on item number 3, the quarterback club?
I do. Dr. Pascarella, have we heard any professional recommendation or any cause or concern from administration, coaches, or otherwise associated with that building concerning the structural integrity outside of the previously discussed route?
The best that I could describe that is, as you might recall, a while back, we did have Beckwell, remodeling come out to give us that and indicated that if we did put a new roof on and had some of our maintenance guys do some touch up, that they did feel that it would be structurally sound. That being said, we know that the building is aging and that is noted. As far as structural goes, our maintenance guys, from the best of my knowledge, you can chime in, Mrs. Amadeo, if you'd like, seem to feel likewise. If they could have the roof done and they could touch it up, it would still be good. That being said, we know that it is an old building that will constantly, probably not constantly, but will need additional work throughout time. I mean,
Okay. Has there been any professional recommendation to take it down due to any structural concerns?
when that contractor came out that gave us the price to redo the roof, I think you had indicated, do you think by doing this, correct me if I'm wrong, that it would be able to last for some time?
Okay, so nobody's recommended, unlike the bleachers, nobody has recommended that that building come down for any safety reasons or concerns. Okay. And the general feeling from all those parties was that you put a roof on it, you fix it up a little bit, and good for years, no immediate concern.
Yes, that was my understanding of it.
Okay,
Cosmetically, it would need, you need to stay on top of it.
all right.
Do
Any
we
other
know what happened?
questions?
Do we know what happened to the roof? Because I mean, I took a look at it. There's a pretty big chunk out of it. Like, was it just old?
I think it's just old.
I think
Okay.
it is old. I don't know if something else specifically occurred. If it did, I'm not aware of it. Nobody told me like this specifically.
Yeah,
happened,
okay.
But it definitely needs replaced, sure.
And do we have confirmation for sure that it's not connected to the bleachers?
It's not. I asked him. It's not.
Okay.
When I heard him when I was standing there, he said that he would have to be careful in that area.
Yes.
So there's
Could be.
potential that it could be damaged during the tear down of the bleachers, but there may not, is what we're hearing.
And I guess the electrical structure is okay, and that's, I mean, that would be one of my other questions, is that still, I know there was, I mean, I know there's been leaking in the past there. I've been in that stand, so that would just be one of my other concerns on moving forward, whatever we decide as a board to do, whether we're going to keep that structure or otherwise. I don't know. I just wonder, was there any indication that anything there?
I would
be-
say no one mentioned anything specifically to
Okay.
me recently that says, and obviously it's older.
Yeah,
So
right,
I don't know.
right.
Dr. Pascarella, can you go over the electrical part that you talked about last week?
Oh,
'Cause I know you,
I
yeah,
definitely couldn't hear it.
well, yeah, just that we are renting, it was voted on to rent the generator to run the electric.
For the
Okay.
lights.
And then moving forward, what has to happen with the electric?
Yes, so basically we have accomplished that, I think as of today, right, Mrs. Amadeo, as far as two things that occurred. One was that they are hooking up the lights to two generators
They tested it. It works.
and tested it and it worked. We wanted that to happen today. And so that works. We're good on that. And in addition to that, we also allowed them to Yates to take out expensive equipment that would be able to most likely, majority of it be reused when we whatever is decided on the next step to regain permanent lighting. So those were that was the general gist. So we would be renting generators for the seasons that are coming here in the fall, then, and we obviously are gonna shut the electric down, right? So that he can begin the demolition, take anything good out of there and temporarily run them to generate. I think I.
And then the plan moving forward, there would need to be some sort of building that houses that, correct?
If you,
Structure.
yes, I would say that if you're going to, yes, the answer is yes. If you're going to use those visitor sidelights one way or another, there's a variety of options available, but yes, some type of building coverage, small thing, or running them underground, something would need to be done.
Protect the electric.
Yes.
Thank you.
And as far as the quarterback club, concession stand and the stands and stuff, that was all going out to PA1 calls prior to demolition, right?
She said that you asked Mr. Sipes to call PA1 call and make sure that everything is taken care of before they start demolishing.
Yes, he's aware.
And we did meet with our maintenance guys, in particular Kevin Martin, who indicated that he felt comfortable when you asked about capping, that he felt Sipes would be able to notify him and that him and his group, that is a level that they could cap.
Okay,
So, because I said you have to get somebody out here that
right.
is going to be able to do that. And they, I don't know, they were very confident in the fact that when they're there and they're going to work alongside Sipes, that they would cap that off should we ever need to use it again and do what you need to do on that to try to locate the electric, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
And the demolition of the bleachers is starting as early as this week.
Tomorrow.
Do we know how long it'll take?
He said a couple weeks. He's saying 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So they're not going to bring any of the big equipment in until Monday next week sometime. So they're going to start the small work tomorrow and Friday, and they understand that they need to be gone, before 3.
And in conjunction with the bleachers, he wants to use that equipment for the quarterback club if we do agree.
I didn't hear.
Quarterback club, it would be the same time frame. We would need to have that decision made within that 2 to 3 week period.
Yes, he's willing to wait till towards the end to give you some time, but he doesn't want to come back.
Oh,
He said,
understandable.
costs some money to come back.
Sure.
So he said, he'll donate doing that and include it, but he doesn't want to have to.
Sorry, I have a laundry list of questions in my head. Generators are all set up. They're ready to go for Friday. I'm gonna say obviously or assumably for the game.
She tried it today, correct?
Okay.
They just.
Who's gonna be in charge of flipping that switch and?
Kevin.
Kevin, okay. So we vote no tonight to keep the building, not to accept the donations, as I'll say. What if he gets to that place? Oops. Some of it comes down. Does he come back and say, this needs to come down? We have to vote on it again. More money if he has to come back out? Or does he just take the building down? Do we allow him to take the building down if something should come up? Something of that nature.
Well, there shouldn't be an oops. I will say, I mean, this is the gentleman who has insurance and we define the scope of the project. And so if there is, and he's been made aware and he is aware that he needs to exercise great care in that particular area, if and when there's a stop in terms of like in the line of demarcation between the project and the existing structures. So if that's the direction of the board, I mean, I guess I'm sure he can't guarantee, but that's what insurance is for. And I think if you needed to, then we'd have to use that as a security for the district's interest in the property.
Thank you. Maybe some more comments just in general. I'm a lifelong district resident, graduated here, Kelly, 25 years ago. Sorry.
Thanks.
We don't know how old those stands really are, is what I'm to believe. They could be 120 years old, 100 years old, 80, whatever.
They were there when I was,
Yeah, well,
and I'm a lot older.
my dad remembers them too, and he's 75. So
They're old.
sorry, Dad. I'm just outing everybody today. It's always been the MO of the district to do as little as possible. And understandably so, we don't always have a lot of money, but sometimes spending a little bit of extra money makes things better. And I think that can go to any portion of our lives, whether it's one thing or another. So I would just say, take the building down. It's old. It looks like crap. And then when you take the stands down, you're going to have this little old building over there in the corner. You're going to put lipstick on a pig, but with this coat of paint and a new roof and all this kind of stuff. It is a cost to rebuild it, yes, but it's going to be a brand new structure. We could integrate the lights, generators, supply stuff that you have to build a small building anyway. So we could integrate and make it look good. I'm not indicating that I actually want a visitor side section because I don't believe there is one. That's a story for another day. But if it's chosen to do a bleacher on that side with a building for the lights, just spend a little bit of extra money, make it look good, because ultimately it's our facilities. Everyone sees it. It's outside, and have a little pride in things. So if it's a money issue later down the road, I would just say, just spend the money. It's easy for me to say because it is my money, tax dollars and everything else. I'd rather see a $50,000 building with bathrooms, fresh plumbing and everything else, lights that actually work, than to just have an old building that with new bleachers that we should have 5 years down the road, we go, oh, we should have just torn that down. It looks like it should have been torn down. So my 3 cents on that. Thank you.
I'll second that, Mr. Zachi. I also think that that 12,000, whatever it was to put a roof on it, we can use that towards the structure that you were just talking about. And it gives our facility that nicer look to it. And to be honest, I've been in that concession stand many times. It's been several years, but the condition is not great. I'm sure it's not falling over. It's probably not in the state of the bleachers. However, it would take a lot to make that, to bring it up to, and running. And there's still no bathrooms and we still have to build something for electric. So when you put all that money together, I don't like to spend money either, but when you put all that together that you're gonna have to fix and put the roof on, by that time you might have a building, or just for a little bit more have a building that actually functions a lot better. And what if we put the $12,000 on the building, put the roof on, and then something else, does come up and now we have to put more into fixing an old building. So that's all I have to say.
I agree with you. I know I've been in that. I'm a lifelong resident here too. Graduated from here much more years past you guys. But it is a staple in the community and I think putting money into that instead of and we can decide how far we want to go with what type of building we elect to put up there. So,
I think.
go ahead, go
I
ahead.
know, I thought you were done.
And again, and you'll reiterate for me, just coaches have been, everybody is aware
I
that,
mean, they're aware that they have to move out of there for this year and we haven't made a decision permanently.
okay,
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
that's all. But
I-
their anticipation is that we would have something for them
Well,
next year.
they have the one right now that they're gonna use that is facing the
Right,
park.
right.
Nobody has discussed with them that, because it hasn't been decided. Just other than this year, nobody has discussed with anybody, to the best of my knowledge, that says, oh, it won't be here, or you will get something different, or anything like that. But what I would say to the points that were made is that, I'm a little worried because I don't know exactly what that amount would be that you're talking about. That sounds pretty awesome that we're going to consider that though. And I think it would make it look way better. So if the answer is that people on the board are willing to spend additional money, well, my opinion, and I don't know, just from looking at costs, it's well past $12,000. You're putting that $12,000 to that. I get the point, but it's going to be a lot of money. But if we're willing to do that to make it look really nice, I think we don't know exactly what that number is, but if I can't speak to that, but if votes were committed to doing something like that, then personally, I'd be behind that too. Within reason, I just don't know what that number is going to be, and either do you, to get what you want to get done. But I do agree that if you're going to make it new, sometimes it is better to make your one of your major facilities, look really nice. And that looks better when people come in and people use it all the time. So I just didn't know that that was a discussion that, and that's why we're here. But I didn't know that was a discussion that people were going to be willing to do, to spend that amount past what we don't have all the figures on for bleachers and an installation of bleachers. And I'm not saying anyone made those decisions either, but I like the idea, if there are enough votes within reason, to say, do it right, build it right. The bathroom and the things that, at least from Kevin's point of view, they have been shut down for a very long time. So, and shut off. So will they work? Well, if you wanted to do that, but even aside from that, even if say that gets into becoming too costly, even if you had a new building, that could be used to house the electricity, that could be used to house quarterback club, that could be used to house some equipment, I think that's going to look a lot better. That's going to be really nice, and it's going to make the facility look nice, and it's going to be a big time upgrade and probably worth it. As long as when we do this, in one way or another, we're on board that we're going to do it. Because otherwise, if we don't, and we don't have it, and I do believe, in my opinion, then $10,000 or $12,000 at least to try to save that and put the paint on it is better than having nothing there at all. That's my opinion. But if 5 or more are willing to spend a significant amount of money or whatever that might be to make that right, I think that's a good idea. That's my opinion.
I don't know. I know we don't know about timings of a rebuild and that sort of thing, but is that looking forward, would that be something looked at in the spring? Maybe as an overall entire area of bleachers, buildings, whatever we decide to do, and then budget for that in the 26, 27 year versus trying to come up with the money. In the realm of let's do it right and build it right. We can go a little bit longer, a few more months, 6 months without knowing that we're gonna have this great facility.
I'm only obviously one person without a vote, but my theory on that, if you wanted to split it up, as long as you were committed to it, my theory would be if you're gonna put additional seating, you get that done as soon as you can. And if the next project to build the building the right way, if we couldn't afford to do it by chance when we got the prices in for another budget cycle, I don't think that is the end of the world if that's what you're saying, in my opinion. But I think you're committed to that then, in one way or another. If it were me, I would push to have the bleachers ready for the following year if you're gonna put additional bleachers up. Which, at least at this given point, now I'd like to see everything the next couple games myself before I made a final statement, but in my mind, I think it's wise to have that. We use that facility for a lot of things and I think it would be worthwhile.
The other thing I was thinking too, regardless of whether we rebuild bleachers or not, having bathrooms, new concession stand, all of that on the other side could help with crowd control. You know, there's a lot of, I know we have 2 sets of bathrooms, but there's those 2 condensed concession stands. You have the bathrooms right there. There's a lot of people. It's hard to, I mean, you've worked the games, Dr. Pascarella, running around. I mean, it's just a lot. So having an extra set over there, I thought that was just something that I was thinking of this week.
I personally think from working them though, that having crowd control and just for different events, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think spreading folks out, visitors and other is the best option.
Right.
And then,
I get that.
I mean, by far. And some people that aren't necessarily just visitors like to sit there near that area and it is part of the games.
But then they have to come over and go to the bathroom to come, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if we could do bathrooms, but and how much more that's gonna add.
sure.
There's definitely a possibility. We all know that. We just don't know what we're gonna get into on that. But I would definitely say that the building itself, if you have bleachers over there, is important. And secondarily, if it were me, I'd price it out to have bathrooms added too or not. You know, I don't know. You know, there's a lot that goes into that when you do that too, you know, making sure that making sure pipes don't freeze and those kind of things, and how you shut the waters on and off and a variety of other things that go when you have those type of things on the other side. Just from what I've seen in stadiums, you know, there's a variety of ways that's looked at. But anyway, I mean, good point to bring it up. I guess I never thought that, you know, that's why we're having the conversation, that people would be wanting to look into that.
Do you feel like the next year or two of budget will support that kind of structure? And I know we're all talking about an ancillary number that we don't even know what it is. My experience tells me it will far exceed 50,000 if we're putting bathrooms and probably running new sewage and water and, you know, but however, doesn't mean that it's not worth the investment. Does mean though, if we set the expectation tonight, or if certain folks set the expectation tonight, people will remember later, 6 months from now, if the cost exceeds what the initial thoughts maybe were tonight, and the decision then becomes no, it puts you in a very difficult situation 6 months, 8 months, a year from now. If we take a building down with the expectation that they're going to get something better and then we don't deliver on it, right? That would be my one concern.
Yeah, that's my biggest.
Because you said a good word, commitment, right? I mean, if that's the direction, I think I could support that too, but in fairness, a year from now, I'm not gonna be here, so I think we as a group need to think about, are we gonna be as committed 8 months from now as we are tonight?
Fortunately, 5 of us sitting here probably will be. So hopefully those 5 vote yes tonight, and then the same 5 will be here in the spring. Just saying.
I have a comment I'd like to make. And I was not at the on the board at this time, but I was in the audience that evening when the decision was made not to demo the entire stadium, just the home side. And one of the reasons at that point in time, that board decided that they were trying to cut back on the cost of the new high school and the renovation of the stadium. So there were architectural plans that were drawn up for a full renovation of that stadium. So maybe, I don't know where they're exactly housed or where they're kept, but maybe we could go back and pull those just to see what exactly the architectural plans were for that at that point in time. But the other thing I like to say, unfortunately, a dollar that would have been spent in 2007 is not the same dollar that we're spending now. And I understand about cutting costs, but in hindsight, it would have been better to go ahead and do that because we've also rented that stadium out to various groups.
Sure.
And maybe that might be, maybe we'd be able to track them, maybe some other organizations that would rent that to, help defer those costs in the future too.
Yeah, I would just say to your point that you were making, the commitment and the expectation has to be, in my opinion, somewhat close to what we're talking about though, because sometimes what would happen is you tear it down, you talk about it, then what is built in its place cost, and it didn't really, no one's ever going to be completely happy with whatever decision you make. But if you say that you're going to do it, then you tear that building down, then you build another one and it's very small or doesn't operate much, or you didn't get much out of it, then, that's the thing. But you just have to balance costs. So back to your question about budgeting, a lot of that's going to come down to how much we spend. Some things keep coming up that we didn't know about, and we have to continue to work on that. But how much we spend will come down to how much we have, and if that's a priority, I can understand why it is, because I think a lot of us realize that that is a place that a lot of community members come to and use, both in the sense of sports and athletics, band, music, graduation, just coming to the game to enjoy it. So it is a hub. And
To your point of budget, maybe you budget a building with and without, and you choose which one you want. So, not to interrupt, I'm sorry.
no, but
I just wanted to put it out there as a thought.
I think it's my personal opinion. If you did it, it's worth a suggestion. Just have to remember if it's a priority, as it could be, because many people will benefit for it. Can't do everything.
Does anyone know if Whitfields, if there's at a certain seating capacity, if you host?
Like host the playoff game? you
Yeah,
mean?
host a playoff game or any type of,
I heard somebody say that we would not be at that, like, we wouldn't have enough seating capacity, but I don't know if you know any.
I don't know. We can get the answer to that. It's always going to depend on the game that you host. We have been known to host some really big games, partly because of location and facility, et cetera. Location allows a lot of people from a lot of places to get here. So we could find that out.
and then how do we,
My opinion on that though, real quick,
sorry,
has always been, and yes, our boosters have a chance to make some money on those, but you also have to be careful because sometimes the equipment and the facilities take a real toll if you try to rent that out. So I don't think it's a bad idea here and there to do it and allow our boosters to make some money if that comes, but I wouldn't sell it as we're going to do this, so we rent this out all the time, because then I believe, even if you try to have your own people manage it, everything you invested, it'll start to break down. That's my opinion on that, just in general, but, yeah.
And I know we've talked about some of the plans, right? If we do adopt item number 3, how do we get the ball rolling to address our options, a phased approach, whatever route we want to take? Do we have to start that now?
Well, my opinion is, you mean the next steps after
Mhm.
this? Yeah, my opinion is that I was hoping for the type of discussion that we have today to get everyone thinking. I mean, I think if I were to give you a recommendation, we would want to act on it as soon as we can, or at least in pieces, so that we could start getting prices and formalize that and get a vote. That being said, if we had a really thorough conversation and said that we would come back to September and come up with the idea, if you weren't ready to do that, or as I said, maybe some folks want to see a little bit more what a game looks like and really visualize it from that point of view, how many people were in there, what would that look like, what if we put this, that might help. I don't know. I defer to you on that. Whenever you give us some action items or options A and B and C or something to look into, we'll jump on it and get you the prices, and then ultimately general prices. They won't be the exact, because we probably have to bid that unless it's on CoStars, but it'd give you a ballpark of what you're looking at, and then we can go from there about what finally we want the prices to be.
Do we know what our seating capacity is on a home side right now?
I don't know if you've got that.
I think it was like 2,500 or 2,200. It was somewhere around there, I think,
On the home side,
on the home side. I believe so.
So for today, what we really want to make a decision on is, do we want to raise the location of the old bleachers and the abutting building so that we can continue to move forward and identify what the best option is for the community and the stadium as we move forward? That could be additional bleachers, that could be additional outbuildings, it can be storage, it can be electric housing. It could also be a collaboration with the borough on a facility, because they had come to us a few months ago about exoneration on taxes on a piece of property for them to build a community facility. And it may not just be on us to what kind of replaces that and supports it. I don't know what the back and forth might need to be, but there could be a host of different options that can go into that, which none of us have an idea of today. However, we do need to make a decision on, are we going to start with a clean slate on that side of the field so that we can start fielding some of these options and see what makes sense and what we have the support to do. We also don't know what our budget guidelines are going to be over the next few years, but that will play a role in it. But if we can partner, or we could have some funding, there's other stadiums and facilities in Western Pennsylvania that have had support over the last few years in investment to help. So, there's a lot that we still don't know to help us move forward. However, I think for today, we definitely need to identify, are we cleaning up that side of the stadium so that we can start to project and fact find what it is that we're needing. We're not necessarily committing to anything today because we don't know what we don't know, but we know that we want to look into it.
I would in large part agree. I think if that was the question, yes, you've already decided, obviously, that we're going to start demolishing the bleachers, and this is just the additional building. So I think that's why that conversation happened. One thing I will say is I would like you, depending on how the vote goes either way, to reach back out to Mr. Bevilacqua and let him know whether, and make sure he was okay, and explain to him if this vote was voted to be taken down, and if not, when he might start to replace that, if that was the goal too. So one way or another, I think those were the two things today. I do think that there is a variety of options, but I'll say it again, my recommendation is, whether it be tonight or September, I think we should start at least saying, here's some things we want you to look into and get prices so we can keep the ball moving. And I think there's a lot of options out there.
Is there somebody that we can ask to come in and just take a look at it, that maybe they wouldn't have necessarily complete numbers, but they could say, for this amount of money, you could maybe get this, or we've seen, something like this be done before at other stadiums. You know what I mean? Somebody that's sort of an expert in that field. I don't know.
Well, the one thing I know Mr. Amadeo was trying to do was get the cost to be put in from the Aliquippa folks that had them put in, because that was a more recent job.
Mhm.
Now he hasn't gotten the folks that were able to tell them exactly how much the install was, and maybe that was a little bit smaller. He was trying to reach out to other places to say, who else put these in to get that part started. I think he did give you a general, just for the material, was around a 140 something for just the bleachers, and that was, I think it was for about 750 folks, so that's probably the minimum. Well, I don't want to say that, whatever you decide. I think he was looking at that as comparable to other places that he saw, such as Hopewell or maybe Central Valley, or some places that are comparable size, just as a starting point.
There's just a lot of land over there. So I think, to your point, are there other ideas that we could add to this for not a whole lot? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Somebody to come out that does this on a regular basis. That could come out and take a look at it and give us ideas.
I guess
Yeah.
my only comment to that is whenever we call them, if a majority of the people want us to tell them, just give us ideas to look at. I get that, but some parameters that we could start with, like we at least want X amount of seating in the bleachers, and we at least want to look into having, a building for a concession that is at least this size, or, and I understand what you're saying. Maybe they could map that out as recommendations, but part of it also is I think what you folks are looking for, to start. Now, they might be able to give us some good suggestions and say, yeah, but if you do this, it's really cool. Try that. Or, yeah, I've seen this done and I think this would really suit this area well. I agree with you. I don't know who exactly that would be. Starting, I would say, by people who have had recent stadiums, put it out to the athletic directors or something like that. If anyone's had, a half project done or a full project done, and what does that look like? So you can take a note on that too. See if you can put something out. Hey, who in my athletic director contacts has recently had an upgrade on their stadium facility? And,
Yeah.
what would you do the same or different?
Right. Yes.
I've always said
That's a good
that,
idea.
that doesn't hurt.
Yep.
But you should have some parameters of, in my opinion, of, in general, something that we're looking to do. It's my opinion.
I'm just thinking there's a school that just put in I mean, we wouldn't be doing this. I don't think, but a huge field house that has locker rooms and, maybe there's something in that specific building that they're like, oh, we're so happy that we got this, but we didn't really need all of this other space. I don't know. There could be anything that we're not thinking of because we don't do it. So, yeah, I think that would be a
Everywhere
good
I've
place to
been,
start.
people are always happy when you have bathrooms, to your point. Bathrooms, if you have seating over there, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I think we have him ask those questions and see what they liked and what they didn't, what
Mhm.
cost what, and get some general ideas. And if you're ready to send us on our way past that, but you could ask him to work on that. And you guys could also maybe think about what it is for sure you want.
Mhm. And it'll give us 2 home games at least.
So just to back up a little bit, the item on the agenda is just for the quarterback club, but are you looking for direction on like what are the next steps regarding the stands on the visitor side? Is that, just for clarity, is that what you're kind of trying to get the feel of?
Yes, that is what I'm trying to get a feel of. And whether that's tonight or not till September, I think we're okay. But if it were me, I would prefer we don't wait
Well,
till.
I mean, without voting, I don't know that I've heard anything from anybody yet that has shared opposition to having visitor stands, have I? Matt, is that what you just shared? You, I
Not
mean,
convinced.
You don't envision that?
I'm not convinced.
Yeah. But you'd at least look at the options. I mean, okay.
Absolutely.
So I think
options are
I
good.
think we're ready. Anybody not ready to see options on that?
I think that's our next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need a clean slate, which
Yep.
is why we potentially agree to raise what's there. And we are presented with some options that we can potentially pick and choose what's needed. This could be one of those scenarios where, we hear from the community on what
Mhm.
they may like
Mhm.
to see
Mhm.
over the next
I
month.
mean,
months.
my perspective on
And
what
what
does
we
that
can-
look like? I mean, I don't know what the right thing is to do. I do know what I see at other as large or larger districts, and their visitor side stands are not the scope or size that our visitors, I mean, that's from a different age, a different
Yeah,
time, right? So typically, I mean, again, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but typically it looks a little different. It's probably not as wide, probably 8 to 10 high, predominantly made out of aluminum only, predominantly open underneath. Um, Predominantly not concrete, right? I mean, it just looks different today on some of the newer construction that I've seen. Now you go to the city, you know, like I've gone to the city a few times and you see older stadiums and you see the concrete like we have, you know. But the newer stuff is on the visitor side. It's generally not what I'm seeing when I go to the away games. I mean, it's
And to your
so, I mean,
point,
I think in my mind, I see something that's more in tune with where people are now, and that kind of seems to be where people are now.
and to your point, it depends on their entire facility.
Sure.
So, you know, if we are missing or we are lacking in some area, you know, those other facilities may have it built into their main structure where we may not have something that is identified there as well. But we need to start somewhere. I think as we move forward here, we want to see these options. We want to hear from the community appropriately from the community, however they may want to ask for things. The community involvement has been something we've heard about. And I feel that this is definitely one of those areas where that involvement can be justified and can be supportive in a supportive way. And we understand that we will not make everybody happy as we move forward and make these decisions, but we do want to include and understand what is it that you want to see, and then we'll see how we are able to move forward with that.
We vote.
Any other questions? All right, so,
We go ahead and make the motion to approve 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
all right, I heard a second. Roll, please.
Farragonio,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Ms. Fitzko,
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kvasivic,
Yes, please.
Mrs. Ramasco,
Yes.
Mr. Zaggy,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes,
motion carries.
okay, thank you. Athletics, Mrs. Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move for the adoption of item number 1.
Second.
All right, thank you. Roll, please.
Mrs. Farragonio,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher.
Yes.
Ms. Fitzko.
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kvasivic,
Yes, please.
Mrs. Ramasco,
Yes.
Mr. Zaggy,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, thank you. Ms. Fitzko, anything for public relations or legislative tonight?
Nothing this evening. I just wanted to say welcome back, Ritters, and let's have a great start of school tomorrow.
All right, thank you. Steering and rules, Mrs. Kehoe.
I'd like to move for the adoption of items 1 and 2 as presented.
Second.
I heard a second. Roll, please.
Mrs. Farragonio,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher.
Yes.
Ms. Fitzko.
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kvasivic,
Yes, please.
Mrs. Ramasco,
Yes.
Mr. Zaggy,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, thank you. And personnel, in the absence of Mrs. Scott. Would you be so kind, Mr.
No
Kovacevic?
problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Personnel. All new hires pending receipt of satisfactory and current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening and PDE certifications if applicable. Elementary School Resource Officer. It is recommended to approve a pilot partnership with the Ambridge Area Police Department to place a part-time school resource officer, SRO, at Economy Elementary School for the 2025-2026 school year at a cost not to exceed $35,000 pending solicitor review. Number 2, Elementary School Resource Officer. It is recommended to approve a pilot partnership with the Harmony Township Police Department to place a part-time school resource officer, SRO, at Highland Elementary School for the 2025-26 school year at the cost not to exceed $35,000, contingent on whether the police department is willing and able to perform the duties, pending solicitor review and municipal commitment. Number 3, Elementary School Resource Officer. It is recommended to approve a pilot partnership with the Beaver Valley Regional Police Department to place a part-time school resource officer, SRO, at State Street Elementary School for the 2025-2026 school year at a cost not to exceed $35,000, contingent on whether the police department is willing and able to perform the duties, pending solicitor review and municipal comment. 2025-2026 coaches. It is recommended that the following individuals be approved to fill the designated coaching positions for the 2025 and 2026 school year at a salary as per the terms of the collective bargaining agreement pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screenings, TB testing and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening, provided the school year allows coaches to hold sports as normal. Number one, boys soccer. A, John Miller, volunteer coach, no remuneration. Number two, girls volleyball. Jasmine Franz, middle school coach, $2,050 stipend. Lethera Harrison, middle school coach, $1,350. Number three, wrestling. Ron Wilson, assistant coach, $2,400. Ron Wilson, middle school coach, $1,850. Larry Knopsnyder, middle school coach, $1,350. Number four, boys basketball. Eric Astorino, assistant coach, $2,410 stipend. Number five, cheer. Emily O'Malley, middle school coach, stipend, $1,350.
And Mr. Kavasevich, you are welcome, should you wish to do so, to simply reference the number for things that you very well read last week. But if you wish to, again, for the purposes of the video, all right, you're welcome to.
Posted positions, clubs, and activities. It is recommended that the following individual who applied for the specified posted position for the 2025-26 school year be approved at the rate of pay as per the collective bargaining agreement, provided the school year allows and the sponsors are able to hold activities as normal. Activity Club Middle School, Club Hope, Brad Olenek, co-sponsor, $235 salary. Paraprofessional. It is recommended to hire the following individual to fill the paraprofessional position as per the terms of the Ambridge Area Education Support Professional Association, ESPA, PSEA, NEA, collective bargaining agreement, pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening. Lisa Loskotch, pre-K, elementary school. Professional employee, it is recommended to retroactively approve Emily Lentz is Highland Elementary School, learning support, emotional support, autistic support, life skills, all grade levels at a salary of $50,981, step one, masters, effective with the first day of the new teacher induction, as per the terms of the Ambridge Area Education Association, AAEA, PSEA agreement, pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening, PDE certifications if applicable. Number eight, mentor teacher. It is recommended to ratify Susan Parisi as mentor teacher to Shannon Tatman as for the 2024-25 school year as per the negotiated agreement. Number nine, resignation. It is recommended to approve the resignation of Kathy Ray as the Ambridge Area Middle School full-time secretary effective August 11th, 2025 with regret. Are there any questions? Is there a motion?
Second.
Roll, please.
Can I have a second, please?
Sure.
Or
I
do you
thought I heard a
want-
second.
I didn't hear you motion.
I didn't motion.
Okay.
Oh, I
That's
thought
what I
I
thought.
heard.
I asked for a motion. I
Sorry.
didn't.
Oh.
So you got first.
I'll move for the adoption of items 1 through 9.
Second.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Farragonia,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Ms. Fitzko,
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kovacevich,
Yes, please.
Mrs. Ramasco.
Yes.
Mr. Zaggy,
I'm a no on 1, 2, and 3, yes on 4 through 9.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
motion carries.
Great, thank you. I had the opportunity to go to, I think it was yesterday morning, right? The,
Tuesdays.
was it Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I had the opportunity to come to the opening yesterday morning and see all the teachers when they walked in the building. And, boy, as tough as we feel like it is at times, I did not see any grimaces. Almost exclusively, there were smiles on their faces. I stood by the door by the cafeteria and said hi to everybody when they came in. Lots of smiles. Everybody was jovial. It was good to see them all ready to come back. So it was good to see the cheerleaders here cheering them once they came in the building or came in the auditorium. It was great to see the band. We need to remember that the people that work here and the kids that attend here, they need our support even when the going gets tough. And it was good to see them glad to come back, right? Like everybody thinks, well, I know my wife doesn't like to go back to school, but all the other teachers were happy to go back. I know Kelly was happy to go back, right, Kelly?
Sure.
But it was good to see that anyway, and that's what gives me encouragement is going to things like that, seeing that it's not always as negative as sometimes we hear and feel like it is. So it was good to see all that. I wish all the students, all the staff, all the teachers, all the administration back for another great school year. And I thank you all for your efforts and what you do every day. And anxious to go to a couple games and have a good start to another year. Dr. Pascarella.
Well, you hit it pretty good there, President Carpenter. Yeah, excited for another year. I thought it was an excellent start. Special thanks to Dr. Filipowski, the rest of the administration, the entire staff who helped to get everything ready. It was awesome to have the kids welcome us back and remember why we're here. It was just an excellent day. Everyone's getting prepared and hopefully tomorrow will be a great first day of school for everybody. And just want to say, I hope everyone had a wonderful summer and we're looking forward to a great school year. As you said, come out to a lot of the activities and support the kids. It'll be a great year. Thank you.
Our esteemed barrister, Mrs. Turnbull.
I don't have anything legal for you this evening. I'm excited for you that it's a school night, and as a parent, I'm even more excited that this is a school night tonight. So thank you for everyone and what you do in these schools. They work. I had a very small role to play yesterday, and there was a lot of engagement, and I sense that excitement too. So great job to the administration putting that together.
I did hear chatter that they were all especially excited to get to your league and stuff.
Professional boundaries
Yeah,
is
I knew that.
always super high, but it's important, and we are in fact, and I wanted to make sure that the staff really understood that we are a culture as an institution of protecting kids always, and we're all on the same team that way, and encouraging dialogue even when you're not sure is really important, and everyone has a role to play in that, and that seemed really well received.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Turnbull. It's now time for old and new business. Any district resident who desires to comment on any business relevant to the Ambridge School District should now come forward. Each person must state their first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once.
Good evening.
Hey, Sean, still going on, probably more. This is a few items, so I'll cut straight, so real quick. First would be for building grounds. All members of the community, as well as staff I'm sorry, at state government have raised concerns about the fire system there. I was advised, and I apologize, I don't have all the specific facts on this, but I was advised that it's only functional partially, and that the 911 communicator was disabled. I did repeat false alarms. This is only concerning obvious reasons. Kevin worked confirmed tonight whether Sage Street Elementary School currently has a fully functional fire alarm monitoring system, and whether the fire marshal has signed off on occupants within the system in its present condition. Secondly, I just want to touch on policy 105.1 for the curriculum review parents. I appreciate the parents do have the opportunity to review instructional materials. But I just asked the board to clarify the process on how that works and when status parents have to review that. Review the curriculum. Also, what support is going to be on the who have to address diverse learning needs, and also from a positive side perspective, how will the district provide copies to parents or members to review the curriculum? Thirdly, in regards to the SRO, or new SRO. District is currently, you guys are hiring 3 part-time SROs at the elementary schools, it costs $35,000 per school. We are currently paying $90,000 per year for the SROs in the middle and high schools. Now, one thing that I believe is concerning is that you're paying $10,000 more than what we're paying $10,000 more for a full-time officer, or a full-time SRO in the middle school, high school, then Ambridge actually hires their officer on, they hire them on $8,000. They just recently had a posting for them. So I just want to get a little bit of clarification as to why we're paying more for those officers. On top of that, adding 3 part-time SROs is an additional cost of $105,000 annually. This is a major cost tax saving for the district. Would it not make more sense for us to hire qualified officers directly opposed to contracting this out?
That's your time.
If he has more, I would be willing to extend another minute.
Okay,
I'm fine with that as well.
you okay with that?
If we're investing this level of security within our elementary schools, why can't we do our elementary schools? And get the regular pass instead of requiring bigger pass. The last thing that I'd like to quickly raise is the issue with accessibility for our middle school students. Earlier this year, I personally slid on down the hill into the baseball field, trying to my game. If that happens to me, who I believe is someone in shape, imagine the risk for someone with mobility challenges or disability. The fields are not safe and accessible, and they pose someone's injured or denied access to being lost. I strongly urge getting those skills being accessible to all.
Thank you. I took diligent notes there. Do we have any comment on the fire system status?
So, and you could jump in, Mrs. Amadeo, but we had a group come out, we were getting false alarms, which to be honest with you, that happens occasionally. We had a group come out and take a look at it. Originally, we were worried that it would not be operational. Once they restarted it, it was operational. However, so to answer the first part of the question, the professionals came in, and when they restarted it, I'm using that word basically, shut it off, restarted it on, did a few minor things, no major repairs. It was fully functioning, correct?
That is correct. And we had 2 vendors that
2 vendors that verified it. However, it seems to continuously happen more often where we're having these issues. So that's why we're getting the repair done now, so that we don't run into situations where it continues to break. And then we have to hope that, when they reset it, it fixes it. It's starting to happen more frequently. So the answer, to the best of my knowledge that was provided to us, is yes, they are operating effectively as we speak, but that they recommended that it could happen at any time. So we moved on it as quickly as we can to have it repaired. That's that answer. The SRO, I know there was another one in there. I'll try to come back to that. The SRO costs a lot more. I think what you were saying is that there was a posting for an officer that you might make $80,000 a year, but they're charging us $90,000 a year per person. I would just simply say that I don't know their budget as well as our budget, but anytime you're hiring an employee, quite frankly, there's a lot that goes into that position, healthcare benefits and, social security taxes, retirement costs, all those types of things. So I would be willing to say that they are always working with us to be a fair and equitable amount. Secondarily, as they move up the amount that they make, all those other costs will simply go up. So I would say that the difference is probably not, they're probably not making a whole lot off of us as much as they're just trying to break even on those additional benefit and supplemental costs. If that makes sense.
We are not involved in any of that benefit structure, right?
Well, the idea behind that was, I think what he was saying is he saw a job posting for an
Yeah,
Ambridge
I know,
police.
but I mean, for that, whatever we pay.
That's a
then
flat fee.
It's
that
flat
covers-
fee. We are not involved with any of the cost structure for their retirement benefits, any of those.
Right. We pay a flat fee of 90,000. What that would offset, it offsets, if that makes sense.
We got grants.
We do get grants as well. That helps out. Usually we get those every year or every other year, depending when they're available. Oftentimes we'll get somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000 for that to help offset some of our costs. And I think the question also came up about, why not have your own or something like that? I think you asked that, like our own police force. I've had that in other districts, and if it's the only way, it's not a bad idea. However, I found in my experience that it is much better to have SROs underneath the given borough. One of the major reasons why I feel that way is because then you have the chief of police, and although, technically I have some say-so on behalf of the district, or we have some say-so on behalf of the district, it's nice to have somebody with that type of law enforcement experience to be able to oversee that. And I think that's really effective. Plus, when you do have somebody who's out, they often are, not always, but often are able to staff that with some other people, to be able to come up and service that, where if you only had a few of your own, substitutes would be difficult. So for a variety of reasons, I won't go into all of them. Neither one is a bad idea. And if you added all the cost up that you would then have, you're really not a whole lot cheaper, if you even are, by the time you pay that retirement and those benefits and those things in the school. So you actually are at similar or possibly more cost. So that's just my one person's take. The part-time is, I don't know if that was more of a statement, I think, than a question about the 105,000, but it is something that we've discussed and for a while. We're hoping that we could work with the other boroughs and that will occur, meaning Harmony and Baden Regional for State Street. We're still in conjunction and talks to see if we could pull that off. The one for economy through Ambridge will happen. But and the board's wishes as well as mine is that we fill all those if we can come to terms on that. It may seem like a expensive cost, and I'm not arguing the point that it isn't quite a bit of money, but right now I know that we've talked to a lot of people and trying to have some additional support and safety measures put in place for the elementary schools. We all deemed as important. The accessibility to the middle school fields, the one question I would have on that, just to make sure I understand the right way, I'm not, are you talking about going down to where the track is, or are you talking about baseball fields? Both. Yeah. Yeah. So I know that from going to a few track meets and just going up there, sometimes you almost have to walk down that little path to go around. If you try to go straight down the hill, that is, so I guess, that can be difficult. Instead of walking down to an angle, almost down to the, I don't know what the right word would be. There's a little building down there,
Yeah.
like walking
Used
down
to be a
towards that little
concession stand
building
years
and
ago.
then come around. But anyway. So anyway, I think my understanding from what you're saying, and Mrs. Amadeo, take a note. We'll have to have maintenance at least take a look, but I think you're talking about the track and the field that's in the middle of it, as well as an additional baseball field, the one that sits behind the track. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. I don't know how much I've scaled the one going to the baseball field. So maybe we could at least have somebody, or we could try to take a look at that. The one on the track, I have tried to do that both ways, and it's probably better for me to take the long angle and go down there to your point and go around. Because if you try to go down there, it is steep. And I've done that to try to, you know, go say hello quicker or something like that. And I agree. So I don't know. Maybe we could get even some signage or something that says this is the way that you should walk down. You know, please enter down this path and take a look at that path or something. I don't know. Let's take a look at it and see what they say, but take a look at that. Then clarifying points, I think you were talking about the curriculum policy was the last one.
Yep.
So just trying to pull, first of all, first and foremost, our solicitor did speak to us a little bit about how these policies, you know, not saying wrong, right, or indifferent, were mandated as the recent, and we wanted to make sure we reviewed those and let people know so that we were in compliance, just so you, so everyone, not just you, I'm sorry, understands that. But pulling it out just to try to make sure, and you could take a look at this too if you'd like. I mean, in my mind, I think we'd have to make that feasible. I don't think that we would be talking about, a lot of things are online, so between their kid's device and others, they should be able to take a look at those things rather than making copies. If not, I know when some people wanted to see units a while ago, they would have to like make an appointment to view a book if their child didn't have a book. Many of the times, though, your child either would have a book or it would be an electronic version that you could look at on that end. I don't think we would really need to make copies of everything. There might be a case, right, where somebody has, you know, teacher made stuff and we might have to figure out how we scan that or look into that. But that was one thing that I thought you asked.
And neither of these were, you had an existing policy on both counts. I think it was a matter of making sure that in light of Memu versus Taylor, which is the U.S. Supreme Court case that came down in this last session, that we did put fresh eyes on it, made sure that it complied minimally kind of with those bigger policy kind of angles. The first of those policies, which is the 105.1, you'll see, and this is typical in a lot of our policies, that it leaves room or directs or gives authority from the board to the administration to the extent that they wish to or need to develop either like internal protocols that go along with it, right, or do the fine tuning on the logistics of it. And that is in fact something that I know that we've talked to the administration. They're ready to do it. And again, state law has always required some level of parental opt-out, and we've always been really sensitive and wanting to know, okay, what is our curriculum? What are those materials? So it's just a matter of making sure that we've put fresh eyes on it. Talk about any refinement to the protocol. I don't think we were aware. I mean, I'm not aware of any problems that families have encountered that recently or the last couple of years that have come at least up to my level, but we work with everybody individually and we're ready for those conversations if there's anyone in the community that want that, you know, for whatever reason, this is a moment where they want to reach out, and we would work with the staff too to make sure that they feel supported, because I heard that part of your concern as well.
So from the actual application, just in closing, usually if somebody has a concern, they bring it up, they look at the material, the principal and or teacher would meet with them and talk about what was something that was concerning and how we might be able to give them a differentiated project that would work towards accomplishing the same goals or skills or content to the best of our ability, correct? I mean, that's what we've been doing, and that's what we intend on continuing doing. Okay, I think I got him there.
Oh. Anyone else? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second, all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Have a safe trip home, everybody.